Okay, so today we are going to look at relationship rules for patterns. The first pattern rule we're going to look at is recursive pattern rule. This is a pattern that tells you the start number of a pattern and how the pattern continues. So for example, say a pattern rule is start with 4 and add 2 each time. So we know that's the pattern rule. But say the question's asking me, what is the 20th term? How do we figure that out? Well, first we need to figure out the 19th term before that, and the 18th term before that, and the 17th term before that. And that will just take a really, really long time. So what is the easier way of trying to figure out this answer? So just know that a recursive pattern rule is when we know how to start and how we know how to continue. This way just takes a really long time. So let's try to figure out another relationship rule for patterns. Because the recursive pattern rule would be taking too long, we're going to use the explicit pattern rule. So this is a pattern that uses the term number to determine a term in the pattern. So we go back to our example of start with 4 and add 2 each time. So because of this example, start with 4 and add 2 each time, we know that there is a difference of 2 between any two terms in this particular pattern for this example. So we know that the common difference is 2. Now a common difference is the difference between any two consecutive terms in a pattern. So because of this, we can look at this particular chart right here. So by this pattern rule, we know that we start with 4 and add 2 each time. So in that case, we start with 4 and we're going to add 2 each time for every single term. So 4, and then we're adding plus 2 equals 6, plus 2 equals 8, plus 2 equals 10. So what do you think comes next? If you said 12, you are correct. So when we look at this question, and we look at how we start with 4, and we go up by 2 each time. Now before we said that we wanted to get to 20. Now that will take a really, really long time for us to go plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So another way we can do this is by using that explicit pattern rule. So our explicit pattern rule is start with the first term and add 2 one time less than the term number. So our goal term number is 20. So it says add 2 one time less than the term number. So one time less would be 19. Therefore, our pattern rule, as we were told to start with 4, would be 4 plus 19 twos. So 4 plus 19 twos. So we have 4. Now 19 twos altogether would be 38. Now when we add that together, we get 42. That means that 20 should be 42. Now if we went down and added 2 and 2, our 20th term, because of this explicit pattern rule, should be 42. This is just to show you that there are many ways to figure out patterns, and there are many ways to figure out the numbers when we have the relationship rules. So we have to look at the numbers itself to see if there's a recursive pattern rule from when we talked about at the beginning of this lesson, and if there's an explicit pattern rule, so that we can try to figure out the common difference. So just like in this example, we know that the common difference is 2 between each number. So try to remember that when you go on to work on the following questions.